have all the stuff in front of me for batiking at this point. I just wanted to tell you that in this fry pan I've got the wax heated up to 230 degrees Fahrenheit, and I forget what that is in Celsius, somewhere in there. But the paraffin wax I put in a couple, 3, 4, whatever blocks, and then a little bit of beeswax. If you were really concerned about actual how much of one versus the other, just remember that the paraffin wax crackles, and this one you can even see from where you're looking right now. The crackle, there's so much crackle in that because I forced the crackle, but it really does crackle. And if you don't like it, this is a personal preference. When you're working with students, it's up to you. The paraffin, you don't need any, perhaps, but the thing about the white wax, without the paraffin, it flakes off too fast. You want a little bit of beeswax in there. And like I said, this crackle, I did it. I did too much crackle, so you can see how crackle's gone wrong. This one's got a little bit of crackle in it. It looks nice, and I didn't probably do too much of anything. It's just a natural crackle that occurs. So somewhere in the middle there, you've got your look of batiks. That's what batiks look like. So what I would do with a class is have about 4, 5, 6 students, whatever you feel comfortable with, sitting around the fry pan. Give them all brushes, and you want to melt the wax in the brush before you start to paint the wax on. Of course, you've already got the designs on the fabric, and I'm just going to try and show you without putting this down. I'll move over so you have a flower growing out of my head. Always a good idea, I think. And you are going to paint the wax onto the fabric and let it go through. You can work right on the paper, but then the wax sticks to the paper. Kids already like to play with the wax too much, and they like to paint everything. They like to paint their thumbs. They like to paint each other. That's the discipline problem you have to deal with. So hence you only have 4, 5, or 6 kids sitting around. Now when you're painting your design on with your brush, you're going to sneak up to the line because there's a little bit of flow with the wax. It skitters like it runs downstream in a river. And you're going to keep painting until you're done that area. If you stop painting, what happens is the wax starts to harden. Then you try and put extra wax there, and it won't blend together. You'll have holes of no wax. So you want to paint everything. And when you're going into the point on this star, you're just going to ease on into the point. Be careful or you'll have blobs. Some kids get really excited by blobs, and that's bad. And you will also have drips. You'll notice when I'm putting my brush in, I touch the edge of the fry pan to get excess wax off. Now this one's not too bad. I was worried about it hardening too fast, but it hasn't. And you paint the whole front of the star. Then you turn it around and you do the same thing on the other side. That gives a nice solid white. If you don't paint it at least twice, what's going to happen is your white becomes a dirty color, a dirty whatever colors you've used. And you don't have to go right to the edge. It can be a little quicker on the back, but you're just making a little more wax. Again, then you're going to have a better crackle as you put this on your star. I'm just going to show you this whole star. Now my plan for this one Of course, every kid should have a plan on paper before they start. Only use pencil. Ink is a real mess when you're using ink. My plan for this one, I started to say, was I'll have a yellow star and something else for a background. I didn't make a plan. I'm the teacher. This one, I just wanted to point out that if you are doing letters, make sure that you make them wide enough. If they're too small, they're hard to see. When you're all finished and the wax is all out, you can always go around the letter with a magic marker to fix all the mistakes. Again, I'm just going to show you on this one, when you're waxing, sneak up to your edge and do a nice smooth edge as much as possible. This is kind of, I'm working backwards just so you can see it, right? And you can fix the back if you've got little holes by doing it immediately, and it will remelt the wax.